The John LeBanc Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to The John LeBanc Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Spicier than a jalapeno on the surface of the sun. Hey, John, you want to go to the bowling alley?
Shady, I don't want to go bowling. I'm on the radio right now.
Oh, I forgot. Well, you want to come?
Well, I can't go. You going to be back for Cooler Uncool later?
Yeah, I'll be back for Cooler Uncool.
All right.
I got a good one tonight. Bye.
I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, everybody forgets that we have a radio show here, and they just want to interrupt at their convenience. So I hope everybody's doing well this fine week. We've had a good week coming up as we bring you this broadcast. We've taken on 4 new affiliate stations, and 2 in Connecticut, and 1 in New York, and another one in the United Kingdom. So we're growing by leaps and bounds again. Other good news may be coming down the pike soon. But, the idea, that of bowling, because Shady brought that up because they're going bowling, it brings up the little Obamacare situation going on where there are some people that are not apparently happy with the Obamacare replacement, repeal, whatever they're attempting to do there with the healthcare legislation. And there's some people that aren't happy enough because it's not conservative enough for some people. Other people, like the Democrats, they're not going to be happy because they're going to claim that people are going to lose insurance. And Donald Trump, being the deal maker he is, he went to the Freedom Caucus and said, hey, why don't you guys come over for a little pizza and some bowling in the basement of the White House? I don't know if you are aware of that, ladies and gentlemen, but there is a bowling alley in the basement of the White House, along with many other things. But, if you're bored, if there's nothing going on, if the president's bored or needs some R&R time and he can't fly out to Camp David, he can go down below and throw a couple games of bowling. And he can bring the Republicans along that are not happy with the bill that the Republicans laid forth this past week. And Donald Trump, being that deal maker, was out trying to get these Republicans, to come aboard so he could get the votes. And it's funny that he would use bowling and pizza to try to swoo people over to his side. The people from the Freedom Caucus, those people, for the most part, their majority of constituents are of the working class variety, and bowling and pizza would be a normal thing for people from those districts and those areas that these specific congressmen were who were invited to the White House to go bowling. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, I'm not even sure Donald Trump's going to be there or he was there or how long he would be there, but it would be fun to watch these guys bowl and see how bad they actually are, and watch the behind the scenes wheeling and dealing over pizza. It's not the traditional method, but Donald Trump's not the traditional guy. Then we also had the WikiLeaks situation this past week, where Julian Assange's organization released a treasure trove, Vault 7 of information on the CIA and how it was spying on people and the means it was spying on people and what methods they were using, like going through your television. That's interesting since I had just covered the Samsung TV and how they tell you not to talk in front of the television because some third party. Now we know that the CIA, because we were questioning it, what was the third party? We thought maybe it was the NSA. Apparently, it was the CIA, at least, was using your smartphones and your televisions and whatever other means possible to spy on people. And that all came out in the WikiLeaks information. The one thing that I'm noticing is that people are talking about this like it's some brand new revelation, when we've been speaking about it on my show for a couple years now, that you shouldn't be talking around your phone, or you shouldn't be expecting that somebody isn't listening in on your television or something like that, because all these devices are now connected to the internet, which makes it easy to sneak into when you're a government, or if you're a well-funded organization. Your stuff can be hacked into, your stuff can be, taken over and used against you. And this new information, supposed new information that WikiLeaks has produced, is nothing more than a rehash, in my opinion, of old news. Maybe it's new documents that show this, but maybe it points the finger at the CIA directly, but it really doesn't produce anything truly new or enlightening beyond this. And really, what's going to happen? How are the agencies that are doing these sort of things, be it the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, how are they going to correct themselves from doing this now that they've been caught? They're not going to correct themselves. In fact, they're probably going to do it more. It's out in the open now to all the people who weren't already aware of this. My listeners have always been aware of this. I shouldn't say always, but we've been covering the subject for at least 2 years, if not longer. We just had the story a few weeks ago about the body cams on the police that they've been handing out to them, that they can have face recognition in a matter of seconds. And we spoke about that maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever I think it was the Michael Brown situation that brought that up, that the police should have these little cameras on them at all times. And some cities adopted this, and other cities were told they had to have this. And people actually thought that was to make sure the cops weren't doing anything wrong. But what it comes down to is they can now find out who you are quicker with your face. They catch you on face. They have the super fast computers. They go in there into their databases, and that's Joe whoever, and he's wanted for this and that and the other thing. So now they have all that at their fingertips now. And it's not some new revelation to my listeners here on the John the Bank Show. But to the people who listen to the mainstream manufactured news and they're just now getting a whiff of this, that's because it's so entrenched in our society now that they don't mind it coming out into the open, because it's not going to do anything. You're all set. You're all ready. They're in your phone. They're in your computer. They're in your laptop, your iPad, whatever device you have that is connected to the internet. The CIA, the FBI, the NSA, whoever, they have a means of getting into that and listening to you, maybe even watching you on video. So if you're doing some things with people you don't want to get out, maybe you're some freako and you like, hanging around with some dark and crusty people in some weird places and doing some strange things with them, and you don't want the world to know that, better not take your iPhone with you or any of your devices. Leave them at home. Leave your laptop at home, whatever. I mean, like your phone has a GPS. They can always track you. And yet we're surprised that the CIA and others have been in our phones when I'm not surprised at all. To me, the WikiLeaks information is nothing that brings anything new to light. In fact, I'm starting to wonder about WikiLeaks and who they are working for. Because this information, as when we went into the whole email scandal during the election, and we found out the John Podesta emails and all that, those were all actual declassified before the fact that WikiLeaks released them. So they've already been declassified, so anybody could have got this information. So WikiLeaks, at best, obtain this through some sort of Freedom of Information Act, or at worst, somebody was just leaking, making it public, the information that was already declassified, and it was no big deal, just nobody knew about it, nobody talked about it. So WikiLeaks was doing reporting on that. But it wasn't like they were getting specifically interesting and detailed deep classified information. We still can't find out what was in all those Hillary emails, those 33,000 emails that mysteriously disappeared. And if WikiLeaks was all, worth their weight in salt, don't you think they would be able to retrieve something like that over information that is obviously it's been declassified? And so it's really not that hard to obtain this information, nor is it hard to disseminate it. And even though we've got Mr. Donald Trump all upset over the information, Mr. Trump, it seems pretty public, this information already. And you yourself are talking about being bugged by Barry. And so all this coming to light should not surprise you at all. That somebody would release this information, whether it be declassified and just easily handed out, or somebody even would be a mole inside the government and passing this information illegally out to WikiLeaks or foreign governments or whatever. Now, I'm not saying it's right, because I'm balancing here, because I understand the need for national security, yet I also understand we need to have freedom of information. And it's a very hard line to walk on, and most people will sway one way or the other. It should be all information, doesn't matter how damaging it might be to the country. We need to have all that information out. And there are some people that says we got to hide all the possible information away from the public so that nobody knows what's going on inside the deep halls of government. And I'm trying to be right down the middle on this and say we've got to have national security. That's for sure. We have secrets that foreign governments don't have, and corporations, and really some bad people out there. We don't want this information getting into their hands. On the other hand, I do agree that we need to be more open as a government and as a society as far as when it pertains to public information. Private information is something different. What somebody does in a bedroom, I don't really care to know. Personally, that's just not my thing. But as you hear, ladies and gentlemen, we are up against the first break.
Hey, don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back. I promise.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here
It's better than some good Thai stick, man.
Yes, I would like some too.
I'm so excited, Uncle Shady. I've never been bowling before.
I'm just glad we're doing something besides nothing.
I second that. We've been cooped up all winter. I wonder where the bathroom is.
Oh, it's over there.
Gotta drop a deuce, huh?
No, just gotta drain the lizard. I'll be right back, fellas.
Well, don't fall in.
Welcome to Sanctuary City Bowling, the place where anyone from anywhere can bowl.
So this is where you've been going every night.
Yes?
I thought you were messing around on the block.
Oh, no. I am what you call a very new hire.
Now, how'd you get this job?
Well, what do you mean?
You're not American. Trump said he was going to make it so you couldn't get any jobs.
Well, my brother, sister's uncle, cousin owns this franchise, so he gave me a job.
Is he American?
Well, why does that matter, Uncle Shady?
Because it matters, Leroy.
I don't understand why, Uncle Shady.
And that's some revelation. You have a hard enough time with English, let alone the broken English coming from this pinhead.
You don't like my hat?
A bowling pin on your head is a hat?
This is the required uniform. I want to be Employee of the Month. That's why I wear it.
Well, if your goal is to look stupid, then you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. How may I help you today?
We're here to bowl. What else would we be here for?
Well, how many people in your party?
There's 3 of us.
Yeah, the Rednecks is testing out your toilet right now.
Well, do you have any shoes?
Well, I got 2 or 3 pairs. Why do you ask?
I think he means bowling shoes, Uncle Shady.
Do I look like a man with bowling shoes?
Well, how would I know?
Do I look like Earl Anthony to you?
Who's that, Uncle Shady?
Someone who would own bowling shoes. So how much does it cost to rent them?
$3 a pair.
How about I bowl in my socks?
Well, that is against company policy.
Well, how much is it to bowl?
$5 per person, per lane, per game.
Well, do you have any discounts like for old people like me?
The only discount I have right now is the refugee discount.
Is that where I have to sing a Tom Petty song?
Who's that, Uncle Shady?
You know, the guy from the Traveling Wilburts.
Who, Uncle Shady?
Ask the redneck, he knows.
Ask me what?
Who the Traveling Wilburts are.
I think you mean the Traveling Wilburys. What do you want to know?
Well, who are they?
Well, they're a band that consisted of a lot of famous musicians like George Harrison, Bob Dylan, and Tom Petty.
What do they have to do with bowling?
Nothing. Now, will you shut up so I can get these shoes and do some bowling, please?
Oh, what size do you need?
I take an 11. Women like men with 11s.
Okay, here you go.
Leroy, what size do you wear?
I'm an 8.5, Uncle Shady.
No wonder you can't find a girlfriend.
Oh, that's mean, Uncle Shady.
Well, don't blame me. Blame God. He made the rules.
And what size do you wear?
I'll take a 14 and a half.
Damn, Wilbur, the women must love you.
Well, there's never any complaints if I can find them.
Would that be all, gentlemen?
How much do we owe you?
That would be $24, please.
Leroy, pay the man.
All I've got is a 50, Uncle Shady.
Well, you'll get some change and then you can buy some beer.
Okay, here you go.
Here is your change, and you'll be on lanes 9 and 11.
We only wanted 1 lane.
I gave you 2 for a price of 1.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
Okay, thanks a lot. You ready, Leroy?
I'm ready, Uncle Shady.
Well, let's go, because I gotta be back for Cool or Uncool.
Okay, Uncle Shady.
You're listening to the John LeBanc Show.
It's hydroponic radio for your brain, man.
Feel smarter yet?
You know, in an attempt to masquerade around like they're relevant, the House Republicans shoveled a worthless piece of legislation out to the public. There's their first stage of the repeal and replace of Obamacare. And if you take some time and read it, and I haven't gotten through the entire bill, there's a lot there, and it's hard to read because it's all this legal jargon, and you double reading if you don't understand, because I'm not a lawyer, so you got to read it a couple times to understand what the heck they're talking about. Outside of the mandate not being there, and and that's it really. Outside of that, it's really a worthless piece of turd. And they're not going to get support for this from
the Senate probably more than anybody else, but they're not going to get support from this from the American people because it's junk. You knew when they were doing things behind closed doors it wasn't going to be really good. It's not like anything that's done behind closed doors is ever good for the little people. We have some Republicans saying, oh, we can't have this if so many people are going to lose insurance. And I'm thinking, well, they're not really losing insurance. They can go out and get it. And if you make a bill that's worth a crap, then insurance costs will come down. How about we get rid of insurance companies in general? That would bring health care down because we wouldn't have to pay people that have nothing to do with health. Why don't we take that money that goes all to the insurance companies and split it down the middle between the doctors and the hospitals and all the nurses and everything and the patients? The patients would pay cheaper on the long haul. They would pay cheaper. Oh, right. I forgot. People don't save money for that. That's because they tax us to death. A lot of us could save some money, and when, there was a report that came out that most of us aren't here in the United States, or like half of the country can't write a check for $500. Well, that's because they take too many taxes from us. They rip us off. The government who gives us very little in return, they give the people who don't pay the taxes the return. People like foreign governments with all that foreign aid, the United Nations. Wall Street got money for a bunch of years there. Wasn't the taxpayer paying that? Oh, yeah, I forgot. Those people on Wall Street pay taxes, right? So if we were to eliminate the stupid insurance companies, there would be money on both sides. And then we can get rid of the taxes so the people can actually save up for their money so they could pay for a future health problem or whatever. I mean, it'd be easier on all of us if we didn't have to pay all these income taxes and all. I mean, the working folk. I'm not talking about the people who don't work, and I'm not talking about the super rich. The super rich can always pay for their health insurance. The people who don't want to work or who can't work or for whatever reason, sure, they can't pay for health insurance because they're not working. I understand that. But the working class, the people out there working, if the government wouldn't take all our money through taxes and then give us a little bit back on April 15th, oh, here you go, you paid a little too much. Why do I have to pay too much? And you give it back. That's ridiculous in its own self. Oh, I paid too much, so you're going to give me some back? No! Stop taking so much in the first place. So if we wouldn't, these people who are in the working class and they're working, and if we weren't taxed so much, we might be able to put away for each one of our kids and ourselves some money here and there to put into a kitty. Boom, boom, boom. We might be able to. Now, if we're reckless and stupid and we don't do that, then that's on them for making that mistake. But the smart ones would put the money away. We can't right now. Because it's just taken from us right from the beginning. We work our life away, put in hours and hours and hours, 40, 50, 60 hours for a company every day just to survive because the government strains away a bunch of money from you just for doing that. Like a certain portion of your life is for the government. See, we all have public service and we don't even know it. We're forced into public service, conscripted by paying income tax. Your hard-earned money or your hard-earned time goes towards, a good portion of it goes to people who do nothing for you. Zero. And we're supposed to be okay with that. So the hard-earned worker is paying a portion of their money when they could be saving that money that goes up to D.C. for no apparent reason, for a bunch of worthless things that does usually nothing for the person actually paying the taxes. Those people could actually put a little bit of money away for themselves, their wife, their children, whoever. Maybe they can put some away for grandma in case grandma doesn't have enough money they can help out there. Grandma doesn't need to go to the government and go, hey, you've taken money from me my whole life. Now I'm stuck. I have to be in an old folks home. I'm really sick. Can I get some money out of you? I mean, I did pay you my whole life. It's ridiculous. I don't know why we do that. And why that wasn't opposed way back in 1913. So if we'd be able to save up some money, and then we might actually, if there was no health insurance involved, here's another point, we might actually take care of ourselves better because there wasn't a safety net there. And we wouldn't do as many stupid things like eat 47 cheeseburgers a week or something. We might actually take better health or care of our health because it was all on us. And that would help health costs as well because we'd probably not have so many people sick all the time. And guess what? If the hospital is not so busy, their prices are going to have to come down to get people in. Because if there's nobody coming in, I ain't going to go there. I got a cold, I'll take care of it myself. And if I don't have a cold because I've been taking better care of myself from the very beginning because it's all on me, instead of having a health insurance policy that I can act like a fool and treat my body like crap, and then I just go get I'll go get a new this or that, or give me a pill, doc. All this because of Obamacare and trying to get rid of it. See, I think it's simple. If you put everybody's health on themselves and get rid of the safety net, people will probably treat their bodies a little bit better because they won't have the safety net and then just go, I'll go get it fixed. Health care costs would come down. Sure, we may not get quite as many advancements in the healthcare field because there's no money there. I mean, they're doing a great job with cancer, aren't they? Something that, in my belief, should have been cured by now, and maybe the cure is being suppressed because pills are way better for people. Those all those radiation treatments are just so great for people. Why isn't the common cold fixed? I don't know. But you think with all the money that's dumped into the medical field, the vast amounts of it, hey, you know what? We get rid of the insurance company. That money, if you don't want to give it to the doctors and if you don't want to give it back to the people, throw it all into technology. Hey, there you go. Put it, instead of giving the insurance companies all these millions and billions and billions of dollars, shove it into technology. I'd like that switch. We might actually get a cure for cancer then. And I think that would be better overall. I mean, that's just me. Getting a cure for cancer would be much better than having some person in an insurance company make six figures year in and year out with a pension. Yeah, that's just me, though. Who am I but just a little guy with some big thoughts? Got to take a quick break, folks. More on the flip side.
Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow them at Twitter at R&R Unraveled, and look them up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
And allow me to do a little bit of self-promotion. If you like what you're hearing on The John LeBang Show and you would like to know more, then please go to our website. That's www.jlebang.com. You can email us your request, your content information, even music from your band to jlebang@live.com. If you like videos, then you can go to our YouTube channel and look us up at youtube.com/LeBangYourHead, or just check in the search engine Banger Incorporated. Now, if you're doing the Twitter thing, we do the Twitter thing, and if you want to tweet about us or follow us, just look us up at John LeBang. And finally, if you're on Facebook, then come look us up on Facebook, because we're there, and like our page at The John LeBang Show, because we like it when you like that page. This half hour is brought to you by Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable maggots who collaborate, must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
And it looks like the U.S. private sector created 298,000 new jobs in the month of February, which was way above the estimate of 190. So that's going to give Donald Trump something to boast about here early on, especially with all the flack he's been taking. This is going to give him something to champion for a little while. He's going to be able to go, see, look at, jobs are being created. I told you jobs would be created by what I'm doing. And he's going to have some support of that with this jobs report. When you look deep into the numbers, it looks pretty good overall. But I want to, there's some little things that are due to outside factors, not due to Donald Trump, and I want to give light to that, because here on the John LeBang Show, we do try to be, unlike some stations, fair and balanced, as they would say, or as the saying goes. So construction jobs swelled to about 66,000, and manufacturing added 32,000 jobs. Now, the manufacturing is a good thing overall, but I want to just add a little light to the fact that these construction jobs that are up 66,000 in the month of February, we've had pretty good weather here in the Midwest for the most part, enough to where they can actually start doing some construction work. And some of that, I'm not saying all of it, but a good portion of that, or at least a fair portion of that, has to be due to the good weather we are experiencing here in the Midwest. But overall, it's not a bad thing that jobs are up, and they're up tremendously. And that'll give Donald Trump something to boast about over the next few weeks, and that might be able to silence a few of the critics out there, maybe a few, probably not a whole lot out there. The mainstream manufactured news will always find something to criticize about Donald Trump. But this gives them something tangible and strong and detailed, that saying, hey, look what's happening already here during my administration, and yet more is to come. All good signs and all that. So we'll probably be hearing a lot of that over at least the next week or so, maybe trying to deflect some of the negativity that's out there about Mr. Trump. And it is a good sign for the American people. But
as I spoke about when the inauguration happened, I discussed the idea that I felt some kind of shift happen. And I think a lot of people had that shift. And because of that fact, I think people who owned businesses or who were thinking about owning businesses or who were thinking about expanding their businesses all invested a little bit, not only in employees, but probably, as we'll notice over the probably next few months, building construction will be up in general, because although there are people who disapprove of President Donald Trump, there are a lot of people who were very pro Donald Trump and who was excitingly behind his presidency and what the opportunities may come from that. He's going to be pro-business, and he's going to be pro-job growth. He's already stated that, and he's going to definitely use this to his advantage. And in a semi-related story to the jobs numbers, although it's on the opposite spectrum, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross says if we don't use robots, the rest of the world will. And although it is a frightening idea, I have to agree with them. Eventually, people will be too expensive for corporations to produce things, so they're going to have to build robots, and we've seen automation, and that it would be the next extent or the next step in that to build things, and that makes people lose jobs, of course, because when a robot can do the job of two people for no everyday salary, no pension, no health insurance, all you got to do is if it breaks, you have it either repaired or you get a new one. And you don't have the long-term cost just on running the business. And then you don't have to have all the extra insurance, because if people get hurt and all that, if a robot gets hurt, what's the big deal, right? And the Commerce Secretary, Wilbur Ross, is saying, hey, we've got to get into this robotic field. We've got to start manufacturing them. We got to start getting them out there, because this is the way of the future. Because the rest of the world is going to do it. And so all these jobs that are being created now are eventually, through robotics, going to be dwindled away again. And that might be the natural course of, commerce and business, is that, they're constantly trying to find ways to reduce their costs and raise their profits. Sometimes you got to wonder, how much profit do you actually need? Each individual, each corporation has their own number there. Some honestly don't have a top. They just, as much as they can and for as long as they can. And that's just the way of the world, I suppose. But as we're moving into this next generation of manufacturing, which will be all robotics and no human, maybe a person or two. You wouldn't need a janitor anymore, because you can train a robot to do that. If they can build all the stuff that humans can build, and probably faster and more efficiently, then that's another reason why they're going to move towards it. All in all, when the robots take over the majority of the manufacturing workforce, and possibly even a very high percentage of the service workforce, what do you need all the people for? And if you have all the people, let's say the current amount of people we have on the planet now, and they're not working, or very few of them are working because robotics have taken over all the fields, or the majority of the fields, How do you feed everybody? How do you house everybody? People won't be able to afford a house or food or all the luxuries because they won't have jobs. And if you don't have a job, how are you going to pay for all this stuff that costs money? Are they going to suddenly make everything free because the robotics are? No, corporations are never going to make things free. It's all about profit. And in a way, you have to wonder if these corporations are not thinking this through, that eventually who's going to be able to buy their products if everything is produced by a robot? Because nobody's going to have jobs to buy, and nobody has jobs, nobody's going to have money. How are they going to buy things? So either they've got to change the entire system of the world, how things are produced and paid for, and the extremely greedy profiteers are never going to go for a system where they're not going to receive something of benefit for the products they distribute to who wouldn't even be customers. I don't even know how you would classify. They'd have to shift the world, have a new world order, so to speak, just in economic terms. Because if nobody's working, nobody has money to buy anything. And if nobody has money to buy anything, how are they going to survive? Is everybody going to go back to more of a, tribal nature? That won't work with technology. You can't be sitting in a cave on your iPhone. The latest iPhone. Get reception inside the deepest cave. So it's like, I'm not sure this robotics thing, which is inevitable. The whole world is going to move towards robotics, which is going to put a lot of people out of work. And how are they going to create jobs to fit all these people if robots are suitable enough to do everything? There's only going to be so many engineering jobs, and there's only going to be so many, teacher jobs. And guess what? Eventually a robot can do all that as well. And probably better than a current teacher. Because the robot is going to have unbiased, unlimited knowledge that it can just draw from anywhere and then teach students from there. The teacher, no matter how smart he is or she is, no matter how much education, how much reading, how much learning they have done, they are never going to have the vast resources of being connected in to the internet, basically, as a robot would be constantly connected in. Of course, it would be easily hacked then. And then somebody who hacked, let's say, a robotics facility or a facility that was run by robots and did something with them, it could be like one of the Iron Man movies, Iron Man 2, where some mad scientist found a way to get himself into, he got himself into a corporation that was, in desperate need of somebody who could really give them quality equipment, and then the person nuts, and they could use all the robots against us. I mean, that's I know that sounds crazy, but it's not that out of the question. Once these robots are, acted upon like they're used as a soldier in combat, because that's where they're headed. They're not even going to need soldiers one day. Can you imagine that kind of war? We'll just send out the robots there, fight a war. I mean, whatever. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the chat room or the comment section below. This move towards robotics, is it going to be beneficial for mankind? Or do you have many concerns? Do you have the same concerns I have? Do you see it taking over the world and not having a need for human beings? Because how do you need that many human beings, like the number we currently have, when everything is done by robots? You don't need people to produce anything. You don't need people. All they're going to do is be eaters then. They're going to be, you talk about the consumer, you make the whole world some kind of consumer. Be one giant bowl of consumption. And you think the elites are going to want to produce that much stuff for people who don't produce anything back? I don't think so. I'm just saying. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You can bet on it, man.
Powerful, epic music by Toot Box Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
If you're getting married soon and you need good entertainment, you need to contact John LeBang. He's got 30 years of experience of wedding entertainment under his belt, and there is no one better and no one cheaper. He's running a special to the end of the year, $500 for your wedding if you book now. Contact John LeBang by email at jlebang@live.com or go to his website. That's www.jlebang.com.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
I want to ask you something. Would it surprise you that the Obama administration would wiretap Trump Towers or want to listen into Donald Trump? It's not some great revelation that the Obama administration, and through the NSA, was spying on all of us and collecting all of our data on a daily basis. Every time we picked up the phone, every time we typed on Facebook, they were collecting the data. So for Donald Trump to make a tweet that the Obama administration wiretapped the Trump Towers, I was like, that's a surprise? It didn't surprise me at all. I'm supposed to be shocked by that, Mr. President? Honestly, Mr. President, if you were really worried about these wiretaps going on, then how about getting on the ball with some kind of executive order, some kind of mandate of the NSA to stop collecting the data on all of us. End the practice of collecting data on all the American citizens. If you're so outraged that he wiretapped you at the Trump Towers, which I'm not surprised. Whether the accusation from Trump are true or false, it doesn't matter because it wouldn't surprise me at all. Not in the slightest that the Obama administration would wiretap anybody. And in fact, they were probably wiretapped at the Trump Tower from the beginning of the election. I mean, I'm just guessing. But the Obama administration was very diligent in their collection of data from all Americans, whether they were his perceived enemies or his perceived allies. It didn't matter. And I'm asking Mr. Donald Trump, the president, why are you surprised? And if this is a huge problem, if you're now coming around to this fact, after most of us in the alternative media have known about this wiretapping, this data collection of every American for years now. If you are so concerned about it, Mr. President, then take your executive orders, and that should be one of the first things you should do this week. Get rid of the NSA spying on all Americans. That's just my opinion. But now we have, of course, Obama's denying this. Comey's going to the Department of Justice and telling them not to investigate this. Why, Comey? I mean, I'm just wondering. And why should we trust you, Mr. Comey? I mean, you are pretty, you're not very credible. We'll just say that. Hillary, we're investigating. No, we're not investigating Hillary. Oh, we're going to reinvestigate Hillary. No, we're not going to investigate her. So why should anybody in the American public, or even the president, or anybody in the news media believe you, Mr. Comey? You have zero credibility. And in fact, I'm surprised Donald Trump hasn't taken you out of your position. In fact, that would have been one of the first things I would have done as a new president. Sorry, Comey, you're a failure. I mean, there's been plenty of terrorist attacks that they were very close to they were talking to the subjects at one time or another, and then all of a sudden these terror attacks they happen inside the country, and we're supposed to think James Comey is a credible man when he says, Department of Justice, don't check into this. Don't check into this. He's CYA, covering his ass. That's what he's doing. And we need a full-blown investigation of the FBI. That's my opinion. And if Donald Trump really wants to do something positive for the American people, write yourself an executive order, send it off to the NSA and say, stop wiretapping, stop collecting all the data on everybody. See, when they talk about wiretapping, it's so much easier than it used to be. People think there's some guy that climbs up a pole, taps in, and just listens. It's not like that anymore. Our signals are, digitally transferred up through satellites and here and there. That's easily intercepted. It's not even called wiretapping, I believe, anymore. It's called data collection. So if you are upset that President Obama might have collected some data on you, might have been listening into your phone calls, then do us a favor, Mr. President, and tell the NSA they are not allowed to intercept any data anymore. Only from overseas sources if you want to go that far. But once you're inside the country, they shouldn't have any of that. Because if they can do it to me, Mr. President, they sure as heck can do it to you. You have much more power. You have much more clout than little old me. And if they can check my data at a moment's notice, just tap into my phone or read my text messages or my emails, hey, then it's fair game for you, Mr. President. And why don't you do this? Why don't you return the favor and tap Obama? There's a lot of nefarious things going on there with Obama and this little shadow government and the soft coup that is taking place right now. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, is it not? And of course, then you've got the people who, without any real evidence outside of they have been collecting data on us, are backing Trump blindly. And then you've got the people who are opposing Trump blindly because they're on the left side. Let's deal with facts. And I'll leave it at this. We know that President Barack Hussein Obama and the NSA was collecting all the data on everybody here inside the country. President to be Donald Trump was not special. He was going to have his data collected as well. The Obama administration made a weapon out of the IRS and went after his opponents. You don't think he would collect data and wiretap the soon-to-be president when it was clear he was going to win? The American people were on his side, and that's because they elevated Hillary Clinton. If you on the left who are so upset over Donald Trump would have done your job inside your own party, you would have thrown everybody out who took and stole the primary away from Bernie Sanders. You would have threw out Hillary Clinton. You would have threw out Valerie Jarrett. You would have threw out what's his name, the blood ritual guy, her right hand man. So, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think Trump is overblowing this by tweeting out the fact that it was, or I shouldn't say the fact, the possibility that the Obama administration was wiretapping him? Enough with the tweets, Mr. President. Enough with the tweets. That's my opinion. Do you think he tweets too much, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. Oh, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Banger Hotline. Hang on a minute. Hello, this is John LeBang, Banger Hotline.
Hey, John, this is Shady.
Shady, where you been? You're late. We got Cooler Uncool and you're not here.
Listen, I'm not going to make it.
What do you mean you're not going to make it?
Listen, I've bowled 9 strikes in a row, and now we're in the 10th frame. I'm going for 300. There's no way I'm going to miss out on that.
But you're leaving me hanging.
Like I really care. Uncle Shady, it's your turn. I'll be there in a minute, Leroy.
Hurry up, old man.
Listen, don't rush me. John, as you can see, the pressure is on, so don't give me a hard time about this.
Well, what am I supposed to do for the next few minutes?
I don't know, can't you make something up?
Well, are you going to be here for the second hour?
Well, why not? I don't think it's going to take that long to bowl.
You know, this is really disappointing.
Listen, if I give you one for tonight, will you leave me alone and go do that?
Well, did you have one for tonight ready?
You know I do. I always have one ready, John.
Well, tonight's Cooler Uncool is what?
That's the kind of introduction you're going to give me?
Well, you're not here, Shady. That's the best you get.
Come on, Uncle Shady, hurry up. I want a bowl too. Just wait a minute.
Let's go, old man.
John, I've got to leave. If I blow this is going to be all your fault.
Well, what's the Cooler Uncool, Shady?
Well, give me an introduction I can use.
Tonight's Cooler Uncool is...
John talking too much and not letting me get back to bowling.
That's really your Cooler Uncool?
Well, it is now. Can I get a beer? Uncle Shady, I'm almost out of money. Well, ask the hillbilly for some.
I've only got $2.
You know, these cheapskates never have money. John, are you going to pay me soon?
Shady, when money comes in, I'll pay you.
Well, I'm getting tired of you owing me money. I want to go bowling, and I can't go bowling because you owe me money, and I have to borrow money to go bowling.
Well, I'm waiting on people to pay me, too.
Well, this is just ridiculous. Anyways, John, I'm out of here. Bye.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations known as
The John LeBang Show.
I'd like to thank all of our affiliate stations. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you all for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and for some of you, that's in the next hour. This is John LeBang signing off from the Banger Studios.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
That's 2 down, Uncle Shady. 1 more to go.
Piece of cake, Leroy.
No pressure, Shady. No pressure. Just concentrate.
Who do you think you are, my coach?
Just trying to help, Shady.
Take a deep breath, Uncle Shady.
Now, don't you start either.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Open bowling is now finished. So if you are not in the bowling league, it is time you must leave now. Thank you for your cooperation. The management of the Sanctuary City Bowling Center. Thanks you. Have a good night.
I guess we gotta leave, Uncle Shady.
I still gotta throw one more ball.
Well, they turned off the lane.
Well, that's a bunch of bull.
I'm sorry, Uncle Sheedy. Maybe next time.
Next time, how many times in your life do you get a chance to bowl a 300? Where's the management?
I don't think there ain't much you can do, Shane.
Well, I can complain, that's for sure.